Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful girl named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as roses, and hair as black as night. But her stepmother, the queen, was jealous. Every day she asked her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" One day the mirror answered, "Snow White is the fairest of all." The queen became very angry. "She must disappear," she shouted. The forest escape. Snow White ran into the dark forest, frightened but brave. Birds flew above her, and deer and rabbits ran beside her. She whispered, "I must find a safe place." Snow White ran into the dark forest, frightened but brave. Birds flew above her, and deer and rabbits ran beside her. She whispered, "I must find a safe place." At last she saw a little house, hidden between the trees. Inside the house there were 7 small chairs, 7 little plates, and 7 tiny beds. "Oh," Snow White said, "who lives here?" "The 7 dwarfs." When the sun went down, the door opened. 7 dwarfs came inside, carrying lanterns. They worked in the mountains every day, digging for gold and jewels. "Who are you?" asked the dwarfs. Snow White stood up politely. "My name is Snow White. Please let me stay here." The dwarf smiled warmly. "You can stay if you cook and sing for us." Snow White laughed. "Of course, I love to sing and cook." And so she lived happily with the 7 dwarfs. The queen's trick. But the queen discovered Snow White was still alive. She dressed as an old woman and cried a red, shiny apple. She knocked on the dwarf's door. "Sweet girl, take this apple, it is special." Snow White took a small bite and suddenly fell to the floor. "Oh no," the dwarfs cried. "She is sleeping and will never wake up." The prince's kiss. Time passed, and one day a young prince came to the forest. He saw Snow White lying in a glass coffin, so beautiful and still. He whispered softly, "She is the most magical girl I have ever seen." He bent down and kissed her gently. Snow White opened her eyes. The spell was broken. The dwarfs cheered loudly. "Snow White is alive." Happily ever after, the prince took Snow White to his castle. The 7 dwarfs waved goodbye, but they knew she would always be their friend. Snow White smiled. "As long as you believe in kindness and love, there will always be magic." And so they all lived happily ever after.